Hello everybody and welcome to my review for Atelier Iris Eternal Mana for the PlayStation 2. Atelier Iris Eternal Mana released in Japan in 2004 and then was localized and brought to the US in 2005 by NIS America. Atelier Iris Eternal Mana is the first Atelier game that was ever localized and brought to America, despite not being the first game in the Atelier series. I recently finished replaying through this game on stream. Keep in mind the footage in the background is from my stream playthrough of the game, and I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the game after finishing it. I'm going to be talking about what the game plays like, what the good parts of the game are, what the bad parts of the game are, and who this game will be for and who this game won't be for. With that being said, let's get on to the review of Atelier Iris Eternal Mana for the PlayStation 2. Atelier Iris Eternal Mana is a turn-based JRPG game. The game has you playing the role of Klein, who is the protagonist of the game. He's an alchemist, and one day while out exploring, he is attacked by monsters. He's saved by a woman named Lita, who is what is called a Galgazette, which are people that hunt monsters to protect townspeople. After being saved by Lita, Klein teams up with her to become a Galgazette. After teaming up with Lita, Klein and Lita go on adventures and they meet other allies who join them on their journeys as well. Klein's goal is to find the legendary city of Avenberry, which is a town where alchemists used to live, but was said to disappear because of the misuse of the alchemy by the alchemists that lived there. After starting on his journey to search for the city of Avenberry, Klein and his allies eventually get wrapped up in a quest to save the world from the ultimate evil, as with most RPG stories. Now that we know a little bit about what the story of Atelier Iris is all about, let's now start talking about the gameplay and how the game plays. Alright, so Atelier Iris Eternal Mana is a traditional JRPG type of game. In this game, you'll go between towns and dungeons, buying items at towns, making items, and then also battling enemies at dungeons. Travel in Atelier Iris between areas is done on a world map. You travel across the world map and you're able to get to different areas in the game like that. Now, as with most older JRPG games, battles in Atelier Iris are random encounters. So you go to a dungeon or on the world map, you can also get into random battles there. And you basically take a few steps, and after you take a few steps, you'll get into a battle. Battles in Atelier Iris is done with a 3-man party. You can have 3 party members with you in battle. You'll take turns, and then once enemies are defeated, you'll be victorious and you'll be awarded EXP and money for winning the battle. Once characters gain enough EXP, they'll level up and you'll gain skill points. You can then allocate those skill points and invest them into a character's skills to increase the power of the skills that they have. Not only do characters get skill points for leveling up, but by leveling up their stacks increase and they get stronger overall. You're also shown what stacks increase upon leveling, which is a really great thing that more RPG games should have, and I really appreciated the developers putting that type of stuff in the game. Overall, the battles are fun in Atelier Iris, but the battle system is very standard for a JRPG. There's really no innovative or unique features that really make it stand out. Now, outside of battle, things are a little bit different, so where the game gets a lot more creative. In Atelier Iris, as I said, the main character, Klein, is an alchemist, and so as you're traveling through areas, you can extract elements from objects in the environments, and basically with those elements, you can create items. Depending on the type of item you hit with your staff, you'll get a different element. For example, if you hit a wood box or a barrel with your staff, you'll gain wood element mana. If you hit a fire rock with your staff, then you'll get fire element mana. The mana you acquire from hitting objects with your staff will then be used to make the items that are like healing items or attack items they use in battle to help you out during fights. So for example, in Atelier Iris, once you gain the necessary elements to make an item, you can then synthesize that item using the elements, and you can make like an ice bomb attack item. And then you can use it in battle and you'll throw the ice bomb at the enemies and do damage to them. This gameplay mechanic is very beginner friendly, it's very easy to understand, and it's very straightforward. And it's a very fun aspect of the game that really makes Atelier Iris stand out from other RPG games out there. It's a lot of fun going around the different areas, collecting different elements and mana, and then making really powerful items from those elements and mana and basically using them in battle and doing a ton of damage to enemies or being able to heal your characters for a lot of health. So the item creation aspect of the game is really, really good. And it's something that really makes this game stand out, as I said. Now, another thing with Atelier Iris is that in the game, you of course get money, as I said, from battles, and you'll go to different towns where you can buy weapons and you can upgrade your character's equipment and make them more powerful. Another really great thing about Atelier Iris is all the different ways that you can explore the environments and the abilities that you get for exploring the environments. Like, for example, as you get further into Atelier Iris Eternal Mana, you get the ability to blow up blocks that are in front of you, or you can fly around areas. And so that really changes how you explore the areas, and it's a really cool aspect of this game. So now that I've talked about what the game plays like and some of the good stuff, now let's start talking about some of the flaws and the bad parts of the gameplay. So one really annoying flaw in Atelier Iris Eternal Mana is how often you have to backtrack to the same places over and over in the game. One of the worst offenders is the sewers dungeon in the city of Kavok. You have to go back to there almost 10 times in the game, and every time you go back there, it's pretty much the same area. Another flaw I would say with Atelier Iris is the way the dungeons are designed. They're very, very small. Like, some of the dungeons in the game are only 2 or 3 screens. And you might go, okay, maybe it's only 2 to 3 screens, but maybe there's a puzzle that you got to solve that makes it have more depth and makes it take longer to explore, right? Well, no, some of the dungeons literally have no puzzles. They're only 2 to 3 screens, and then you're done with the entire dungeon. So the dungeon design is definitely lacking. Now, another major flaw of the gameplay that we need to talk about is at the very end of the game. There is an ending glitch in the game where if you beat the final boss, sometimes if you're very unlucky, the game will crash right at the ending of the game. So you beat the final boss and then the game crashes and you have to reset the PlayStation 2, load your save data, and beat the final boss again. Game crashes are without a doubt a major flaw of a game to have, and to have it in this game, especially right when you beat the final boss where it can happen right there and then, right before the ending, that's a really big flaw of the game. And so that is definitely one of the biggest flaws of the game as well. Overall, the gameplay is fun in the game. The item creation system is really cool, and it's fun collecting the elements and the mana and making the different items and checking out all the cool items you can make. But the game does have some flaws with the dungeons and the backtracking in the gameplay. So that's going to about cover the gameplay. Next up, we're going to start talking about the story of the game. The story in Atelier Iris is pretty good. The characters are quite likable in the game, and a lot of the scenes in the game are pretty funny. In particular, the tutorials of the game are very well done, and the writing for the tutorials and the scenes that happen during them are well written and some of the funniest scenes in the game. The characters in the game overall are pretty good for the most part. The only thing I would say was that the antagonist was kind of a very generic evil bad guy, and you really don't learn a whole lot about the main antagonist of the game. There also wasn't too many crazy plot twists in the game. There was a few here and there, but there wasn't really any plot twists that super amazed me in the game except maybe one. So I do think the antagonist could have been better. There could have been more plot twists, but overall the main characters were pretty well written. And I liked the characters of the game quite a bit. Next up, I'm going to be covering the music, and boy, Atelier Iris has a fantastic soundtrack. The battle themes of this game are really, really good. The area themes are very good, and the soundtrack is overall fantastic. The voice acting in the game is also incredibly well done. The final boss song in this game also is one of the best final boss songs I've ever heard in an RPG game. It is absolutely incredible. My only flaw with the sound in the game is sometimes there's a glitch in the voice acting where a character's line won't come out when they're supposed to say a line, and then sometimes the line will stutter and repeat over and over. But overall, the music and the voice acting in the game is top notch. It's outstandingly good. So overall, what are my thoughts on Atelier Iris Eternal Mana? Well, overall, I think it's a good game. I think it's kind of a more average game though. It's not going to be anything that's going to absolutely amaze someone. It does do some creative, unique stuff to separate itself from other RPGs out there, but it also has a fair amount of flaws as well. But I do overall recommend playing the game. I wouldn't say it's a game that you absolutely need to play before anything else, or it's like one of the best RPGs ever made, but it is a good, solid game. It's definitely worth a playthrough. That being said, as always, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and also follow me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Shockstorm. I'd really greatly appreciate it. Thank you all so much, and I will catch you all in the next video.